So allow me to introduce our first panelists. I am really honored to welcome ladies and gentlemen here. So here we'll talk about digital life, how social networks, Amazon's, eBay's, Facebook's have transformed our lifestyle. And my panelists are GABRIELLA CSANYI. She's an entrepreneur from Hungary, and she will talk more about travel technologies and her recent ventures about the software design, etc., which would fit to younger companies or old-fashioned companies which doesn't have digital operations. And Mr. DIMAS GIMENO. He was CEO of El Corte Inglés and current shareholder of El Corte Inglés, who has rich experience in mass retail and choice of people. Why do they go to find the different goods and services in digital ways? And we have Mr. Samuel Martinez Ballesteros. He's head of beauty in Facebook, Iberia. So he will talk about Facebook and its operations, how Facebook deals with the beauty industry in 21st century. And then we have a young, well-known entrepreneur in Spain, ALICIA ASÍN. She's a co-founder and CEO of Libelium, one of the prominent IoT, Internet of Things companies in the region. So we have quite interesting panel, I guess. So I would love our panelists to introduce themselves in a way that they want. So starting from Gabriella. So what kind of challenge made you to enter this venture you deal with, you call like locals? Mm-hmm. So what made you to enter the digital space? You have family business background, like OTP Bank, probably people know from Central European region and Eastern Europe. So you have huge operations in that region. So what made you to move to digital space?
Well, one of the reasons is because I was always very interested in travel, and specifically travel technology. And while it's great that, you know, with the rise of technology and the internet, there's so much information out there for anyone traveling to access. Nowadays, you know, you can find everything just by looking at Google Maps. You can go around the city, find information about all these different kinds of places. But that makes our lives also much harder. Because now that faced with that sea of information, you know, you have to go through all of this information and make decisions quickly, and it can cause a lot of stress and anxiety. Whereas, you know, when you travel, it should be the best time of your life. You're looking forward to it, you're planning it, and then you get there and, you know, are faced with all the stress. It's not good. So me and my co-founder, you know, wanted to, you know, create a technology that will not make your life harder, but will make your life easier. So this is why we started to build Like Locals, where we try and make the traveling much easier for you by creating a list of places, the best places from locals.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. DIMAS GIMENO, so you help large corporations to transform their retail operations, like you make them more digitized in a way that we understand. So your experience is quite rich, both as a business executive, you were CEO of the largest employer of Spain. And so tell us more, what kind of change in digital retail made you impressed that you started to help to corporations who is not in digital?
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me here. Well, I have the huge privilege of being the CEO and the chairman of the second largest department stores in the world and the first in Europe. So that gave me the opportunity to know pretty well what's all about the, let's say, traditional retailers that they've been existing for many, many years. Since I left the company 1 year ago, I really decided to understand much better, let's say, the other world. What's going on with digital players, how technology is really changing everything. I'm trying to understand what is happening in markets where digital market share of the digital players is much bigger. So this is really what executives of big companies should be doing. But to be honest, you don't have the time, or at least you have the time, but you never do it. So, and this is a strategy with capital letters. I mean, and it's a pity because nowadays everyday business is so tough that you never leave space for this. So the result of this combination of really understanding what's going on in both sides, it's amazing because there's huge opportunities ahead. Talking about the startups and amazing companies like yours, it's really about understanding how there is a big space of little but really, really fast growing companies that have the solutions and what really these big retailers need. But the connection does not happen because it's very chaotic, and it's normally very, very difficult that these two extreme worlds communicate themselves. So something needs to be done because these guys need a lot of business and to grow, and they're going to go through, and there's a big opportunity growing through these big companies, and these big companies, they need absolutely these little guys to help them do the transformation, because the transformation, the need of speed and decision making is so big that it will never come from inside their own company. So this would be like the first idea. It's really about connecting these two worlds that they're desperately need to be connected and make this connection better and really make it happen in order to benefit both. Because again, it's not really about technology and what should be done, because I think that everybody nowadays really know. It's about execution and how are you going to do it. No? So,
and very interesting. Thank you. Our next panelist first. I have a question. Who did know that Facebook has leaders in beauty industry? Yeah. So it is quite impressive for us. So really, Samuel, tell us more about your role. I think everyone would love to understand what you do there in Facebook with beauty. So yeah, position seems quite interesting. You know, head of beauty in Facebook Iberia.
Yeah. So actually, it's quite funny. Today is my 9th year at the company. So I actually older than 99.5% of all the employees. So it seems to be a long ride. Actually, internally in Facebook, we used to say 1 week feels like a year. So I'm quite old in Facebook years internally. So going back to my role, I'm obviously on the sales part of the team, more sales consultancy. I'm a digital expertise from all my background. And what we actually do is we partner with our clients and understand where their needs are, big or small, and we try to help them with the tremendous risk that we have. When we are talking about Facebook, it's not only Facebook. When I started, it was. And actually, it was a company based only on computers and desktop. Then we switched to mobile. Then Instagram happened, WhatsApp happened, Oculus happened. So you can imagine there is a lot of disruption. Mainly, what we do in Facebook is partner with our clients and find solutions for today's problems. And this is quite important because we are always like thinking ahead of the future. And that is complex, especially with all the layers of transformation that we are having. And we try to really tackle the problems that we have this year, next year, but we are not able to change our project for 5 years ahead.
Yes, let's move to industry-related question. how beauty industry is being transformed by social networks. So what you see is changing. So something's changing, people's attitude or what?
Yeah, what sense? I mean, like, let's not talk just about beauty. It's like social media just transformed the way we interact with each other. I mean, like, it has transformed everyone's lives here at a different level. So when we are thinking about transformation and the way we interact to each other, it has also changed the way we interact with the companies. And the way you look for products, you interact with companies, you explore, you get inspired, has completely transformed. But it's not only about the process of discovering a product and buying a product, it's about the process of you giving the right input to the product or the service or the way that company is really interacting with you, especially when we are thinking about this new era that is not only about the product itself, it's completely the whole experience, and the experience could be in person, but could be also digital. It's like, so all the barriers and all the lines are very blurry now, and technology really it makes it different. It's completely different, and especially in the social media space.
Okay, thank you. And Alicia, I guess we'll talk about more deep tech, IoT. You have been awarded by the King of Spain for your achievements in the industry. And I know you have more than 60 employees or 100, I don't know. You export to Latin America. So, young lady, how you have all started? How you have started to do these things? And talk more about Libelium.
Well, we were a good example of being in the right place at the right moment with a lack of opportunity cost. That's very, very important. So we were just 2 students right away from university. We were 24, and we were researching about wireless sensor networks and what could happen. How could we drive a new industrial revolution by connecting the physical world with the internet via sensors connected wirelessly? So we started. We totally dismissed all the comments of potential investors, and so far we've bootstrapped the company still today. We're just 2 shareholders, and we remain horizontals. So we believe in achieving the vision of transforming the world by providing a tool that anyone could use. So instead of trying to be the ones transforming agriculture, we wanted to be the ones giving the right tools for those that have the domain expertise and know how to transform data into information, which is the magic sauce, and be the tool for everyone in every industry. So as a result, when you are a platform, you have the opportunity to grow and survive in a very fragmented market like the IoT. So we export 90% of our revenues to 140 countries all over the world, and that's also the way to survive for us, because the IoT is so fragmented that we are screening all the sectors and in all the countries at the same time, which is very interesting.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Really interesting. We'll go back to Libelium again in the next few minutes. So my question is to Gabriella. What are the key directions in your business? So where do you want to grow?
Well, what we would really like to do is, instead of quickly scaling up the company globally, we would like to focus on expanding our operations in the countries we're already in. There's this big trend of especially in the millennial generation of people trying to move out of the capitals, to visit the capitals, and instead they would like to see more of the country, the secondary cities, even smaller cities. But there we can really create value, because all the information about the country remains still in the capital, all the touristy activities and all those. So we would like to make the secondary cities also very interesting. So that would that's our next goal in the upcoming years, is to expand our operations in the countries we're already in.
So you are in London,
Yes.
Budapest, and Barcelona.
And Athens right now.
And Athens.
Yes, yes. So hopefully we'll be in Madrid and more cities across Spain as well soon.
Good, thank you. Mr. Dimas Gimeno, so can you name 3 important areas where traditional retailers fail in competing with digital players? Like, let's say there are a number of retailers bankrupted last year, we have seen, and so why do they fail in your views?
Well, I guess the main idea is try to differentiation. I mean, you should really try to focus on what traditional retailers have, and they only can have by being physical, rather than trying to compete with the digitals on their own space. And this is the pure principles of competing that we've been studying all over the time. And you can see that many times we make that mistake. So if you realize what really makes you different, it's all about stores. I mean, if you have stores, you have physical space. It's all about understanding that you need to put that space working in a very different way. The idea of a store as we think of it needs to be changed immediately. And it's all about shopping experience. Nowadays, it's proven that you need a store. You can see now the main idea of the retail apocalypse, that all the stores are going to be banished from the side of the world. It has been replaced with the idea of, no, it's not about no stores, it's everybody needs a store, even the digital players. That's why Amazon bought Whole Foods. There are open stores like Amazon Go or Amazon 5 Stars. The Chinese, Alibaba and JD.com, they have stores. So stores are needed. But it's all about what they need to be done in order to be mixed with the digital experience. So that's the main idea. If you're a traditional, you got lots of stores, you need to reduce them because there are way too many, and you need to rethink what they should be doing they're not doing nowadays. And it's all about that shopping experience mixed with and merged with the digital experience. Why is not happening? Because when you have lots of stores and you got a legacy and you got huge organizations, the oldest and the bigger you are, the harder it is. It's all about human decision. It's about going through organizations that they don't want to change. So believe me, it's not really about what you need to do. It's how are you going to do it in order to make it happen. And we are going to be in a stage in the next years where we're going to see what's easier to do. Whether it's easier for digital players to have stores and operate them well, or we're going to see the traditionals have a relevant digital experience that's going to be merged. And this is something that is going to happen, and we will see. We will see. It's not going to be easy, but let's say that the main idea is do what makes you different. And then stores, besides that everybody thinks they need to be closed, it's absolutely wrong. I mean, they are the key element that can make the different. They make it and have you know, Amazon. They don't have stores. They are building them. And if you don't have stores, you're not next to the client. You don't have this physical possibility, and that gives many options. One of the things is logistics. How about the last minute? Last mile logistics. How about being able to deliver one product in less than 30 minutes? And there's lots of studies, especially with millennials and the next generations, that they are willing to pay more for the things if they have them fast.
On time, yes.
On time. So I guess, that's why this is so amazing. There are huge possibilities on really understanding that your stores need to be doing another thing and being absolutely different than the role that they're playing nowadays.
Interesting. Thank you very much. We had a Facebook speaker 2 years ago. He was telling interesting stories about behavior of app users, and it is of course everyone knows. When you talk about social networks, you first believe about how they track behaviors, etc. But my question is a little bit different. How you create entrepreneurs in the industry?
Well, we don't track people. So it's like, well, not in that sense. So how we create entrepreneurs, like when you think about our platforms, and just to give you a sense of the size, when you're talking about Facebook, it's 2.5 billion. When you're talking about Messenger, it will be 1.2 billion, WhatsApp 1.3, and Instagram also. So those figures can give you a massive reach, okay? So then going back to the capabilities, we get a very interesting sense of what are the tastes and the interests of the users, and that is very interesting in order to match what is the possibility to reach in a very easy way, or find the people that you really want to talk in a quite unique way. When you are becoming so effective in that sense of getting a scale and contacting with the right people, with the right content at the right time, there is a magic sauce, as Alicia was mentioning, in order to get to know the great clients that an entrepreneur needs to boost their project. So definitely, I will say it never in history was being easier to launch a product, because it was never easier to build a brand and find the niche. Becoming a scale is a different thing, but we all know this is a small, tiny businesses, all different categories, but especially in beauty space, that well, the tiniest thing is it becomes uniqueness, and somehow it's luxury because it's tiny and no one else will have it. So I will say, going back to your question on building entrepreneurs, is that we facilitate the scale, global scale. We help them find the right customers at the right time, very cost effective, and definitely is like we can help them really have a unique interaction with their customers, their future and current customers. All this put together is not only building a brand from the ground, it's also building a business. And we have many examples that we just build, like $1 Save Club in the beauty industry that is completely disruptive. It's like they changed the model. And that is something that people have, well, in this case, men have been doing for quite a while, saving daily. They transform it. They said that I'm going to make a club. I'm going to send you every month what you need. But in the other part, building the brand, finding the customers, and getting a scale, we definitely are a unique platform right now.
Because I think everyone knows that Instagram has helped to a lot of brands to merge.
Yeah.
I can tell maybe half of them even don't have websites, but they have Instagram pages. If you stop or you block their Instagram page, basically, then their business dies in a second, So I will come back to this kind of question again, but I would like to ask Alicia to talk more about IoT space and what creates a barrier to reach to let's say 2030s of IoT from now. What is the barrier? Do you believe we need more technology experts? Do you believe we need more politicians like who may understand the technology itself? Or trade barriers? What we need
to make this happen?
Yes.
Well, that's a mix of a couple of things. Now we are in a moment where the technology is mature, and this is not obvious. When you talk about high technology, you always suppose that when you are acquiring a product, it will work the way it says, but doesn't need to be like that, for sure. Now we are in a moment for the IoT when technology it's really mature. Second thing is that we are in the right moment we are living here is that there is a small gap between technology and domain expertise. We still have, for example, IBM salesmen, Telefonica salesmen going to the farmers and telling, I will tell you how to save water in irrigation. I will tell you how to avoid using fertilizers to avoid the plagues in the crop. But we are still having tech people talking to the domain expertise people, and there is obviously a gap with the lack of knowledge about the business itself. So you know about technology, that's fine. You are the best one to build a system, but I will call you the moment I need to renew my cell phone data rate or whatever. So now we are seeing for the first time the companies, the vertical companies working in every vertical coming to us, and instead of, and the technology is being pulled by the different verticals. Instead of being the tech companies, the ones pushing the technology, going to every single corner and saying, you should automate this, you could put sensors there, and you should definitely do this. We are living the other way, which is the right one. In smart cities, we need to, we add a third level of complexity, because you also have politicians. The problem with them is that when you are installing parking sensors in a city, for example, to make it easier for motorists to find a parking spot, all the tests you are making are at the side of all the citizens, and that always includes a political cost. So we need brave politicians skilled enough in understanding the technology to know the way they need to drive this disruption in cities, and how to, and we are seeing in Nordic cities, for example, cities that are realizing that it's not only about introducing sensors in the city, but it's also about changing the way they are communicating with the citizens. So I'm putting sensors to monitoring the pollution levels, but at the same time, I'm not putting them for my self-consume. I'm creating an open data platform so every single citizen can see how good or bad are we doing in pollution levels. So it's we need the social transition also.
Great, thank you very much. Let's go back to Gabriella. So, Gabriella, tell us what kind of typical problems you see when you push forward with technology. So, it might be a range of problems you face. So, maybe employees are not ready, their KPIs are not ready. So, what kind of problems you face if you go forward only with technology, forgetting about everything else?
You mean from the business side,
Yes,
or
from
for users?
No, from business side.
Well, it's always a problem that I think as an entrepreneur, you get very excited about your product. You think it's the best thing that anyone thought of. You put a lot of things in there and you start developing, but you know, you like it. You don't know if anyone else likes it. So it's, I think, that can always be a problem. But you know, you grow into it and you start talking to your users, and it might sometimes go against what you initially set out to do. So you have to pivot before you go into development, and that can save you a lot of costs. Because technology isn't always the answer. Just because there is some new fancy tech out there, it doesn't mean that the users are ready for it, or the company is ready for it. I think the key is always to talk to the users, especially if you're in a niche market like we are, and to use the right technology to cater to their needs. And
consider us as app users, even app users, like local. It's a nice app, I've seen it, well designed. So what is next big in your eyes in regard to like locals? Where do you want to take the company in the next few years? So you want to change, like no one that did it, but we'll do it.
I don't like to plan that far ahead, but we really want to utilize AI. That can help a lot in travel, especially as we talked about that information overload that travelers face when they start to plan. So we just released a new product, and we have a very nice recommendation engine in there that makes it much easier to find places very quickly that align with your needs and preferences. So that's where we would like to go. Obviously, as you go, you have to pay attention to how the market reacts to your product, and based on that, we make changes. But we are in that learning phase now. So we released our product in October, the new version. So now we're in that phase of we collect the information of where to go next.
Great, thanks. Mr. Dimas Gimeno, so I think you can tell us as a business executive and also a user of the kind of apps, so do you believe that they change our behaviors? Like we had standard happier behavior, or we had, I don't know, we were seemingly ugly, became better, like in our digital mirrors. So how machine learning algorithms help us to feel better or seem nicer?
Well, I think that the more you know your client, the behavior and what he wants or what she wants, I think the better you can do the delivery, the shopping experience again. But it's not enough. That's why I really want to focus on the idea that digital experience is just not enough. And that is why I believe that artificial intelligence, as you were saying, is crucial, because what gives us is the idea of, if you got the data, it's how to use it and how you make the system learn by itself, and allows you to go to the next level in the way you not just know your client, but you can really make the experience through algorithms much better by knowing more information day by day and offering different things and knowing really this is all about specialized experiences. We don't want to be more treated like the others. I mean, we ask and we wish that the retail and the companies that we have relations, they treat me as an individual and they know me better, so I guess that is the main idea. But again, mixed with the physical experience. One of the things that I realized when I've been with Chinese big companies in retail is that they admit that, for example, loyalty with clients through digital is very complicated. When you have these big companies, they have huge of transactions. They have lots of different clients every day. But when it comes to loyalty, these clients shopping again, the rates are very low. And that is because it's very easy to move on to one shop to another when it's just a matter of a click or your finger. So when it comes to loyalty and you want to really create relationships long-term with your clients, you need a store. And because there's when you have a salespeople there that's going to say, hello, Mr. Ahmadov, how are you? You bought this the other day, and how about, have you tried this? And that makes the real engagement of things that makes different. Yesterday we had a very interesting news about Nike leaving Amazon, saying they're not going to sell anymore through Amazon. And the reason that they're saying why they do this is because they want the engagement by themselves. They want to have that experience with the client by themselves. They don't need a third party. You lose completely that engagement. No? So I think that it is, again, another proof that this is all about how do you know your client, but what's even more important, how are you doing that engagement and how you are interacting with it. And that's what I think it's going to make the real big difference.
Great, thank you very much. Samuel, so tell us how millennials, the generation that born after 2000s, how do they imagine beauty?
Well, I will say millennials are this generation everyone is talking about, but now is no more about millennials. It's Generation Z that is just coming after them. Millennial is quite uniqueness because they born digital, they behave digital, and I will say mostly what they expect is for a company to understand cross-channel. What this thing about omni-channel, when they think about beauty, they behave exactly in the same way. What I really found out, mostly not only talking to consumers, but talking to companies, is that sometimes they talk about like silos, like they usually take these terms offline, online, and I never saw a customer, millennial or not, they were saying to themselves, this is my digital me and this is my physical. So they are looking for a seamless experience through every channel, obviously, and specifically talking about beauty categories, like I will say at the same of the rest of the categories is they are looking at personalization. I mean, like an experience. Millennials is more about, I will say we will have to highlight this generation will be, they don't believe that much in ownership, they believe in experiences and services, and this has to go along with the different categories. So I will stick with that idea and evolve it. But it is very, very complex in this space. And I said before, I say we are just in this uniqueness moment that more than ever is very easy to launch a new product and find the right people and at the right time. And millennials, they really engage in that part, in that sense. Once they like something, they can boost it and they can help it. If we go further on and we talk about Generation Z, all these spikes that we see in millennials, they make them uniqueness, it becomes even more attractive. Like they consume more mobile, they're more digital. So that trend, it wasn't just something unexpected. This is going to continue and so on.
And if I'm asking as a user, I hope you use Instagram, right?
Myself?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
what about you? You use on WhatsApp?
Yes. The question I wanted to ask is, do you believe that when you use your Instagram, it makes you much more beautiful?
Sorry. So what was that?
So when you look at your photos
be beautiful
and
in your
mirror,
profile.
you seem much better. You express yourself. I'm not talking about just physical appearance or digital appearance, but the experience that you express to, like, everyone says, "Oh, I'm here, and see how I'm looking nice," or in this moment.
This is actually a very tricky question. This wasn't in the questions we discussed. No, just joking. But first of all, we have to really differentiate between platforms. Okay, Facebook is a personal space. You will find it by my name, Samuel Martinez Ballesteros. In Instagram, you will not find it by my name. And I will say, what it makes Facebook unique is about it's all about you. If I get a friend request and I don't see I don't understand the person, I will never accept. Instagram is more open, or you can make it more open. Going back to your question, you were saying about actually what you're asking is what are the people expressing. So I will say social media is a reflection on how you are and what you want to express to the world. So this is more talking about human behavior, but probably people are more willing to express things you're happy or proud of than more things that they are sad or they feel private. If you go into different countries, this will stick more about what is the society. Like if here in Spain, people will be more private about family things. In other places, like in America, they are more open to share grief. So I will say it's more about how people behave and societies behave. And talking back to how you can look beautiful, you can use filters. Definitely, you can use filters with the camera. I use it time to time, and I look much better.
Thank you, thank you. And the question is to Alicia, then I will ask a question to maybe someone may have question to our respective panelists. So Alicia, my question is about Libelium. So what is next for Libelium? Where do you see Libelium as an IoT company?
Well, that's a very big and bold question. So the immediate plans, because when you are in tech, you never make plans for beyond 12 or 18 months. So we want to expand the services we are bringing. And even also we are a B2B company, and I'm the only one not being B2C here. We also realize that in B2B businesses, you also need to fit that wow factor. So people just want to get things integrated. People just want to get all the projects nicely working and get rid of any worries at all. So we are being forced by the market right now to stop being just a pure device maker of technology and be the ones that are the consultancy and technical partner delivering the whole project. And that's a need. So I removed any reference to device or hardware words in our mission statement early January, because I didn't want to limit ourselves anymore by the mission, which is what every single employee says right away. Oh, we are not that. We don't do that. Well, now we can be more, we can be bigger in what we do. So that's the plan for the next month, to go over that transition, which is a lot. It means transform every single department in the company, because you don't have a technical service anymore. You have an after-sales service, which is more than changing a name in a department. And we are facing that challenge right now and hoping that it will drive more momentum to the IoT.
Great, thank you very much. And I would like to learn, do you have any questions to our panelists? If you have, please raise your hands. Otherwise, we would thank to our panelists. So, is there any question? I think I asked all of them. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
And yes, let's applaud them.